So here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven, how do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. Yes, indeed, we have another phenomenal show in store for you tonight. Hey, things happen. Our guest expert was unable to make it on tonight, and so, as they say, the show must go on, and I'll tell you what, I've got a phenomenal topic lined up that will help you to generate income for your business. And what I'm calling it is the 3 keys to live video show mastery. That's right. And we'll get into that very, very soon. The Mind, Body, Business Show. What is that all about? Well, it is a show that I had put together with you in mind, with entrepreneurs, with business people who are looking to take their business to the next level. No matter where you are currently, whether you're just beginning, you're already crushing it, and you're just looking to take it to another level. And what I do is I invite guest experts to come onto this show who have achieved great levels of success, and then interview them in the purpose of getting their information, their secrets for how they became so successful, so that all you would need to do is simply take notes and then take action. And that is model what other successful people do. And that is your shortcut to success. And model is just another fancy word for copy. And it's absolutely okay. In fact, you must model other successful people. If you wish to cut a 10-year climb down to, say, a 3-year climb, it is absolutely imperative. And there are so many successful business people and entrepreneurs that are so willing to help you and say, yes, please, here is my playbook. Please model, copy what I do. I will help you. And so it's perfectly okay. And it's imperative that you get that through in your mindset now rather than later. And so here's the thing, why reinvent the wheel? It takes a long time to do it on our own, to go through trial and error. So why not lean on someone who's already been through it? Yes, that's right. And this show is all about the 3 pillars of success. And those 3 pillars, you might have guessed, they are part of the very title of this show, mind being mindset. The people that I followed, the people that I studied that had achieved a great level of success had these 3 qualities, all 3 of them. It just over and over, these patterns kept developing. And I recognized that, okay, these are the patterns of success for successful people. Mind being mindset, which is they, to a person, had a very powerful and, more importantly, very flexible mindset. And then there is body. Body is about, to a person, once again, they all took care and take care of their respective bodies. And that's through both exercise and through nutrition. That's eating well, drinking well, and moving well. And then there's business. That is multifaceted. That includes things like marketing, sales, team building, systematizing, leadership. I could go on and on. It's a huge list. And the thing is, these very successful people had mastered the skill sets that were necessary to build a thriving, not just build a thriving business, but also to continually grow it and continually improve it. The good news is no one person has to master every single skill set that is required to have a successful business. In fact, I would argue that it might be darn near impossible for any one human to do so, because it takes a long time to master anything, any one thing. To master a multitude of them will take quite a long time. If you just master one, though, just one of the skill sets, in fact, I mentioned it just a moment ago, it was in that list, then you can achieve the level of success you want and you deserve. And that one skill set is the skill set of leadership. Once you've mastered that, you can then delegate to other folks who may not have, or who do have, the skill sets that you have not yet mastered. And when you're able to do that, and you're able to delegate and bring in other people to help, bring a team on, then you can succeed much faster. So that is the Mind Body Business Show. Once again tonight, our guest expert was unable to make it, but we are going forward. I've got a fantastic topic for you tonight. It's something that is right in my wheelhouse. It's called the 3 Keys to Live Video Show Mastery, and we're going to get into it in just a few seconds here, or maybe minutes. But what I want to do is also alert you and let you know that successful people also, what I found to a person, were very voracious readers of books. And with that, I like to segue into a little segment. We're going to do this real quick that I affectionately call bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by ReachYourPeakLibrary.com.
There you see it, ReachYourPeakLibrary.com. And I say this every show. Do yourself a favor. This is for you, not for me. And that is take out something to write with, whether it be notepad or an actual physical notepad that you can write on with a pen and paper. Don't succumb to that desire to go clicking away and typing it in and checking it out while you're watching, because here's the deal. The magic happens in the room. This happens every single time. I've spoken from stage many times. And, while I'm speaking, I know I'm about to hit something very, very important that's a life changer. And I see people, 1 or 2 people get up because they need to go to the bathroom and they leave the room. And that's what I say, the magic happens in the room. And I would hate for you to take your attention away from this show at any point in time, because, let's face it, that's when you could have missed out on the one golden nugget or that bomb of knowledge, so to speak, that could have changed your life forever. So stick with us and write notes, take notes, and hang in there. And we also have a beautiful prize to give away at the end. So I'll announce that in just a moment. The ReachYourPeakLibrary.com, that is a website that I literally had developed with you in mind. And the reason I did that was because I myself was not an avid reader for a long time. I'm 56 years old as I record this live show at this moment. And I didn't start reading until about 9 years ago, like steadily reading at 47. And what I found really quickly was it's a life changer. It's a game changer. And you can see on that website, it says the number one reason for lack of success is not simply the lack of reading books, but it's the lack of reading the right books. And so I put this whole compilation of books together in one website. And what these books represent, these are books I have literally read myself. I vetted these personally. And they didn't make the grade. They didn't make this website if they did not have a profound impact on either my business life or my personal life, or even both. And so why is that important to you? Well, now your odds of picking up a book that could have impact on you in a positive way are much greater than if you were just to go and research on your own and read the bios and read the descriptions of the books. Now you know at least one other successful individual has vetted something, that has already read it, consumed it, and puts their stamp of approval on it. And you can just come in here and look. All you do is you go and you click on a buy here button. Any of these books, you don't have to buy them from this website. This is not a money-making website per se. It's not the reason for it. The reason is just to give you a resource to click on it. In fact, this goes straight to Audible, and you pick whatever you want, the hard copy, paperback, Kindle, you name it. That is it. All right. That is all I have to say about Reach Your Peak Library. So write that down and definitely visit it when the show is over, and go grab a book that you have not read and just order it. That's the way I do it. I get many great recommendations from my guest experts who come on this very show. So, like I said earlier, no guest expert tonight. So what we're going to do is move straight into the juice, meat, the good stuff, and bring on the topic of the evening. And that is, as I look for it, there it is, the 3 keys to live video mastery. And these are very, very important. So take notes. I don't have a whole lot of visuals for this. I have them all written down in notes myself. And so take notes, because what I'm sharing with you are literally the secrets that have led to multi-million-dollar contracts for me personally. And it all started from doing live video. I kid you not. And a little backstory: when I first started, I didn't do it for the purpose of making money directly. In fact, the show was not designed to be a moneymaker directly. It was the main reason I started this show. There were two main reasons. One was I was speaking live from stage a lot, and I started then. I ventured out from a mentor, left to do my own and model what he had done successfully. So I had 3 of my own events. Like, these are physical events. People come to hotels. And what I realized a few things. One, it's really a lot of work, and it's very tough to fill seats, people in seats, to physically come out, make that commitment, spend the night in a hotel, because they were 2-day events. And it's quite a commitment. So there's a lot of work, a lot of marketing, and a lot of communication that's required. So I learned that. And then putting on the event itself, that was a blast, a lot of fun from everything I had learned. But the other thing I learned was the feedback from, and especially close friends of mine who attended. They came to me separately and said, hey, I was a little confused about the entire message. I'm not really sure what your end game is. And I'm like, wow, that's great feedback. So I decided to hit the reset button from speaking from stage for my own events for a while. And then, so one of the reasons I started live video was basically initially to scratch the itch. I love speaking from stage. And so I wanted to get back, and it helps me to further hone my craft if I continue doing it. Now, granted, this is nothing like speaking from stage. There's so many different things. I love speaking from stage, the energy from the crowd, the people, the interaction. You can see everyone who's there and get their reactions. It's just, you feed off of it, and there's just no comparison. But that being said, you can still move forward with live video. That was one reason. The other reason was to simply build a platform. And what I mean by that is it's a marketing platform. You become more known, liked, and trusted the more that you are out there, the more exposure you get for yourself, your business, your name, your brand, you name it. Those were the reasons. And I just started doing this show back when I was a certified personal trainer, and my primary business was fitness at the time I started this very show. We're approaching 3 years now of doing this show. And back then, that's what my main game was. And the beautiful thing is, mind, body, business, it fits no matter what business you're in, because obviously body was a centric part of it. Mind as well, because I also integrated neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, into my fitness programs. And it's a proven science. If you don't know that much about it, we're not going to go deep into that tonight. Just research it, write that down, NLP, research it, reach out to me later if you want more information. I have nothing to sell in the NLP realm. So I just give you information if you want it. And then business, of course, that's an obvious one. That's what we're talking about tonight, because this is under that business umbrella. And that is the 3 keys to live video show mastery. Because what this became, this very show, it became a lead magnet. I had no intention of that happening. It just became that because of the 3 keys that I'm about to divulge to you. So if you are looking or thinking about doing a podcast, or maybe you're already doing an audio podcast, this is audio only. A podcast is technically audio. This is a live video. It's not a podcast, but a lot of people call it that. So, and people understand it that way. So sometimes I say the same thing. Well, if you're doing a podcast or you're thinking about doing a podcast, then I would highly, highly, highly consider raising that up one more level and going into video, and not just recorded video. I know that with audio podcasts, you're given the opportunity now to edit everything before you actually put it up on your podcast platform. And so that gives you that sense of comfort, that sense of, well, if I mess up, I know I can edit it out. Or if my guest, people I'm interviewing, if they mess up, I can edit it out. Well, it's best to get over that if that's keeping you from going live. And the thing with live is it's a whole different element. There's more energy, a different kind of energy. There's interaction, especially in a platform like you're watching it on right now. And it's an amazing thing. And by the way, before I go too much farther, I do need to mention we do have a sponsor for the show, actually several. And that is if you stay on live to the end of this show, you can enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. And this is compliments of our friends at the Big Insider Secrets, thebiginsidersecrets.com. Because of them, we can give away a trip every single show. So stay on to the end for that. And then we have a little bit more, and we'll get back to the topic. If you're struggling, this is actually right down the topic. If you're struggling with putting a live show together and it's overwhelming, and you want a lot of the processes done for you while still enabling you to put on a high quality show and connect with great people and grow your business all at the same time, then head on over to carpetbombmarketing.com. Carpet Bomb Marketing. Saturate the marketplace with your message. And one of the key components that is contained in the Carpet Bomb Marketing courses, and this is one that you'll learn how to absolutely master, is the very service we use to stream our live shows right here on the Mind Body Business Show. In fact, we're using it right now. And I've been doing this a very long time. And over the course of over 9 years now, I've tried many of these quote unquote TV studio solutions that they have out there for live streaming. And I'll tell you, with all of the choices out there, StreamYard, in my humble opinion, is the best of the best. It combines supreme ease of use, which is very important, along with unmatched functionality. So go ahead and start streaming live, professional looking shows right now for free. Well, not right now, because you're gonna take notes, right? You're taking notes now. So visit this website after the show is over. And that website, for those of you listening now on podcast, is ryp.im/stream live. Again, that's ryp.im/stream live. And let's now get back to our regularly scheduled program. And so with live video, it's very important that you follow what I call those 3 keys. Those 3 keys to live video show mastery. And we're going to cover them in order. First, I like to touch on the absolute importance, and it's imperative that what you do is you do it with the utmost in quality. Quality. And I mean that from different areas. One would be the graphics. So have very nice, appealing, professional looking graphics for your show. You see the logo up here, the frame around me with the logo of the Mind Body Business Show. So here we have the logo of my business and then the logo of the name of the show. So they don't necessarily have to be one and the same. Also, you can see some graphics above my head of the various social media platforms we are streaming live to at this very moment. And so we have all of these things done professionally. See the nice drop shadows in different colors. And it's just, it's got that nice professional feel. And in addition to graphics, that's just there. And there are quite a few to put together, but it doesn't take that much work. Once you have the actual logo designed, like you see the Mind Body Business Show on either side of me, now within that logo are the colors. And so you can literally upload that logo to Fiverr and hire someone at Fiverr to create this frame from that logo using the color scheme, and just go through some refinements until you get what you like. And then you have your baseline, and you can just create everything else from that baseline. It's really not that difficult, but it is very important. High quality graphics. And then the other points are you want to have a very quality lighting system, the best you can afford within the limits of the resources you currently have. I am never going to tell anyone to go out and take out a loan to create their own television studio in their home or their office. I won't do it. And the reason is because I didn't do it, and I'm doing just fine. I started out with bare basics. I'm looking up at a light that's on the ceiling. I did purchase some box lights, soft lights they're called, and soft box lights, I believe. And they had luminescent bulbs, fluorescent, that's what I'm trying to think. And I used those for years, and they were very inexpensive. You can get these really inexpensively on Amazon. And then so your lighting is proper. The backdrop. Now, I used to use a green screen. for a good 2 years, over 2 years. and it just made it look so professional, made it look to the point where I literally had guest experts who came on the show before the show asking me, is that background real or is it a green screen? I'm not actually sure. So if you're going to use a green screen, make sure it looks really authentic and real. And here's the thing, when people are watching you, especially if you're selling something, if you're going to sell something, this was a great tip I got from a webinar expert. If you're going to sell anything, like, so I had a couple of ad spots, right? So yes, I would consider that selling something. If you're doing that, you want to be as authentic and congruent as you possibly can. And if it's obvious you're using a green screen, there's a little bit of that psychology factor that's saying, I don't know, there's something not right. This is not 100% legit. Even though you are a legit person, it's just that small, tiny amount of uncertainty in their mind that will come out as a result of having a green screen. Now, the reason I did a green screen originally was I'm currently in what I'm calling my studio, which used to be my daughter's bedroom. And as a result of it being her bedroom, all of it, the whole room was yellow in paint color. And it had cartoon drawings on it as well. Very well done by a professional artist. And I was in this room for years with that setup. So that's why I put a green screen behind me, so I could shield that yellowness. It didn't match the brand or anything, and then put up a nice professional background. Well, since then, my wife and I, we painted the studio, and what you see behind me is literally the wall. It's not a green screen. It's like a charcoal gray, the entire studio. I have a light over here on the right. I have another light over here on the left, and another one to the side shooting back to give that nice glow effect on the back. And they're all LED lights made by Elgato. They're not inexpensive, and you don't, again, have to start with them. Just upgrade as you are able to. That's it. Go with what you can, with the resources you have, but do the best. Get the best you can out of what you've got, and make it the highest quality show you can possibly do. And in other words, I would highly recommend not using a phone camera or ever, going out and doing one outdoors while your hand's shaking. And I'm talking about a show. It's okay to do videos and stuff, live videos that are live on location of wherever you're talking about. Those are fine. I'm not talking about that. But if it's a planned show, maybe you have a guest on your show, you really want to hone it down and make it as professional and consistent and high quality as possible. Microphone. So yeah, I can show this because I can move it up. I have this is actually a bit of an antiquated microphone, because it's what they call an XLR. And what that means is it plugs into a mixer board. It's not USB. In other words, it doesn't plug directly into my computer. Well, I plug it into a mixer board, and from there, I have different cables that convert it to USB and put it into my computer microphone port. But there are a great array of USB cameras or USB microphones that will make the grade for you. And there's a list of them. If you go, let's pull that up. You'll get some great resources here. If you go to ryp.im/automation, we're going to be talking about automation here in just a moment. So you want to write this down, because what happens when you go to that website, you simply opt in, fill out your name and email, and instantly you'll get a list of all the automated platforms I currently use today. All of them. And there's a lot. And it makes a big, big difference. And don't let this freak you out. Don't let this stop you from going forward with a live show. Again, you start smaller, start with less, and then build as you see the need. And that's what I did. You just keep adding more automation to do the things automatically that can be done that way. But you don't want to do repetitive tasks over and over and over every show if you don't really have to. If you can automate it, then why not? So that would be one to visit after the show's over. Not now, after the show's over. So clothing, that is another thing. So look, we all have different brands. We all have different personalities. So if your brand includes wearing a hat backwards and gold chains and maybe a tank top, I'm talking about guys, and tattoos, look, go for it. If that's your brand and that is how you bring yourself on professionally to help pull people in who love your brand and that works for you, then go for it. for me, if you're just if you're a business person and your brand is not commensurate with that kind of look or feel, I just recommend you dress professionally. And look, I'm not wearing a tie, for instance. You don't have to go overboard. You can if you want. Go to what feels comfortable for you, and just present yourself in as professional a manner as you can. So in this room, a little bit of a behind the scenes secret, I am it's always hot in here because this is the side of the house where the sun sets on, and it just bakes this room. I have blackout curtains, they're called, on the window. I have this room dark 24/7, as dark as I can. And I just use the internal lighting. That's another key secret tip, is that keeps your lighting consistent between shows, so you don't have to adjust it. If you do a daytime show once and then you do a nighttime show another time, there'll be no difference in the lighting internally inside your studio if you black it out. So I have blackout curtains there. Air conditioner is literally running right now, a portable one that I put inside. I didn't have that originally. I just got hot. I turned up fans, and these are investments I made over time. And with something like that and a high grade microphone, I use something. I'm giving you all the secrets right here. I'm using this, which helps to dampen that air conditioner sound and any other sounds that are coming in from around the sides. And it's in the back. It's that way. It's about 6 feet away on the floor, and it's whirring away right now. And so because of that, the clothing where I started, this dress shirt is short sleeved. They make short sleeve dress shirts, and I found some that fit great. I have 7 or 8 of them. I iron them up in bulk. This is my last clean one, so tomorrow I'll be ironing up, getting the rest ironed and pressed, and be ready for the next round of shows. And the blazer, it's just a nice blazer. I'm not wearing suit pants. And another thing to pull back the curtain is I'm only wearing shorts. I never wear pants during a show. And this was pre-COVID, where everybody was doing Zoom and not fully dressing. And I don't wear shoes or socks or any of that. I'm barefoot because it keeps me cool and comfortable, and I feel professional enough. And on that note, I always, before I come on, I do a quick trim, make sure everything's good, no matter how long it's been. I shower not long before the show. I work out before I shower so that I have the energy. And then sometimes I put on some makeup. Yes, that's right. I'm a man and I put on makeup that's okay. A lot of people do it. And I also take it another step. I literally squirt on a little bit of cologne, because for me, this is just me, that takes it up another level. And mentally, I feel more professional. I feel like I'm visiting something very, very important. I want to show up the best I possibly can for my guests. That's why. That's the whole reason. That is why that happens. And that's why I do that. And so I feel absolutely comfortable as heck with a blazer, a nice dress shirt, workout shorts, and that's it. I'm good. I feel great. And I've done this a long time. And that's the other thing is if you don't feel comfortable doing it, then don't do it that way. Do what's comfortable for you. And if you want to change things up, then go ahead and do it steadily and slowly. Let's see, where were we? Clothing. Great. So automation. Okay. So the first key, we were talking about the 3 keys to live video show mastery. The first key again is quality, utmost quality. So write that down. That's number 1. Number 2 is automation. And yes, I put that up on the screen a little prematurely, but it was a good time. So here, I'll do it again. This is a free gift for all of you. And just have the information of knowing what automation tools work very well, are tried, tested, and proven. I mean, again, I've been doing this show for 3 years. I have used so many different kinds of tools over the years, services, online services, automation platforms, autoresponders, scheduling systems, form filling, you name it. I have used so many. And over the years, I finally whittled that down to my favorite go-to suite of automation services that have made my life unbelievably easy when it comes to putting on this show. And so with automation, there are so many things that you can do with automation to make your life easier. One of those is literally the onboarding of your guests, your experts that come on. You can literally automate that whole process to the point where you simply send them, any prospective guests that you want to have on your show, you send them a link to a web page, a website of yours. And on that is a very comprehensive form. Doesn't take that long, but the information you get from it is invaluable and absolutely incredibly time saving, because it includes things like they have to type in their bio, the bio that you're going to read during the show. It's all provided. And then their headshot, an image. So you can put that image with them on your website to say, this is my next guest coming up. Their website. What if you want to promote their website? I always do. Their Facebook link. Now I know of their business page, so I can go there and get additional information from them. The questions you're going to ask on the show. This is a game changer. This used to take many hours every single show to go back and forth with a guest and say, hey, what would you like to talk about? And then go back and forth and say, well, what, oh, do you want these questions? And then they'll refine it. You go back 3, 4, 5 times and finally get a list. And here's a tip. A 1 hour show, which these shows typically are, a 1 hour show, you really only need a maximum of 10 questions. And it may sound low to you. In fact, many times, I rarely anymore do I get through all 10. I can't remember the last time I have. They're used more as a guide, something to fall back on if for any reason the interaction with the guest is not of high energy, if they're not answering with a lot of words, maybe they're really quick in their answers. And that's what stuff you'll learn about as you do your show more often, about who to accept to have on your show, because you want it to be somewhat entertaining if possible. And if it's not going to be entertaining, it's got to be packed with value so that people get something from it, so their time is well spent and not wasted. So onboarding, that's one. Scheduling. So now let's say you've gotten their information. I ask a few other questions that help me determine whether or not I'm going to approve them. And so I get notification when that form comes in. This is all part of the automation. And then when I decide and this is one part that's not done automatically. Some things have to be done manually. And that is vetting your guests. You want to make sure, if you've never heard of them, that they're not going to come on and just blow up your show. And so in the beginning, I did this a lot. Now I don't so much anymore, and I'll explain why in a minute. But in the beginning, you definitely want to be very careful in vetting your future guests. And what I do is, if I say yes, I type in one word into their data record in my CRM, and it will either take them to the approved leg of my automation or the unapproved leg of my automation. And I let go from there, and it takes over. It sends them another web page. If I approve them, it has scheduling links on it. And all I have to do is click the button and schedule their upcoming show. I only do shows on Thursday evenings. So I set the whole thing up so they will only show a 2 hour, I think it's 1.5 hour time slot on a Thursday. I've got those absolutely locked out. No other part of my calendar system for my business can touch it. It's so I've reserved that time slot. And so it will give them the next available Thursday that they can book their show. They get to book the time. I've just set it up so it will fall on a day and a time that I know I will be available, because I've committed every Thursday night, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. And the reason it's an hour and a half, I have them come on an hour earlier, or a half hour early, so 5 o'clock. And that is another big tip. Have your people, especially if it's a live show and it's video, get them on half hour early. You can do so many things. There are tech issues you can iron out that sometimes those happen where they come on, you can't hear them. And so you work through it. You get on the chat, you do different things to make that work. 30 minutes gives you just enough time to, I've had some that went right down to the wire. We got it fixed. All right, we're going live in 5 seconds. Let's go. Here we go. And you just go with it. So 30 minutes has been a sweet spot. The other thing it provides and gives you the ability to do is, if you don't know that guest, if you've never talked to him before, most of the guests I have on my show now, I've never met. I've never talked to. I've never messaged on Facebook or LinkedIn or anywhere, because most of my guests now are referrals. They came as referrals from guests that preceded them. And so they're always as successful or more successful than that previous guest, because that's what I asked them for, is referrals of those kind of people. And so it just works out phenomenally well, where you can bring on super, super high quality individuals. And so they will go through that. They'll do the scheduling. It'll lock it into your calendar. It will synchronize automatically with your Google Calendar. You have all this set up. This is all automation. It's phenomenal. And then there's the ongoing guest communication. So now you're going to be sending them additional emails automatically and text messages, because some email systems, in fact, all of them have issues at times getting a message through. The algorithms for spam detection have gotten more and more stringent over time, and it just keeps getting worse. Oh, yes. Hey, Tim Gillette, how are you doing? Yeah, Tim is another phenomenal live video show host. I think he's on almost every day. He's a madman. I love him. We go back about 9 years ago, and we met at another networking event. So thanks, Tim. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's had the same experience. He says, most of my guests, same thing, created a show where I get to know them live on the air. And that there's a lot of wonderful things that happen with that. There's a different dynamic. You're just getting to know somebody. And so your curiosity is deeper as a host, and the interaction is as authentic as it can be, because you don't know each other yet. And so you get to watch as two people actually are getting to know each other. And it's pretty phenomenal. So thank you, Tim. Those are great tidbits of feedback and information. So yeah, guest communication leading up to the show. My automated system does this. So when they schedule their date and their time, it's always 5:30. So when they schedule their date, and I'm booked. So this currently, as I record this, is April 1st. Happy April Fools. There's no April Fools going on here, but April 1st, 2021, I am booked through July. Yeah, it's bleeding into August. So the individual is not going to appear for some time after they've scheduled their show date, is the whole point behind that. So my system sits there waiting until their show is 5 days out from going live. So it could be months. And then my system kicks in and sends them more emails. Here's what you need to know to get ready. Give them enough time if they haven't already, which I do in the very beginning. And then I remind them again at that 5-day point about what kind of cameras and microphones and all that work well, tips for being on camera. I give them a guest checklist. And so that's all on a webpage. It's a video that I pre-recorded with all the information they need. And this is for them, so they can come on and be presented with the highest amount of quality and genuineness. I don't know how to say that as possible, because my show is for them. It's for them. Again, my guest expert, for whatever reason, was unable to make it tonight. I could not get a hold of them, and that's okay. That's the other thing. The show must go on. And so I had a topic in mind. I did not rehearse this or script it. It's going to be part of an upcoming book. I already know that because I started that process. But that's another tip, is always, if you're consistent about putting your show on at a certain date and time, be consistent about putting your show on at a current certain date and time, and just do that. That's a big, big rule to always show up. Let's see. So yeah, the checklist. So that is part of setting expectations from both sides of the fence. So you give them whatever. I go through and show them some of the what I call segue videos, like the intro video, a couple of segue videos. These are intra show video where I have an announcer, a canned video where an announcer is announcing it's time for the guest expert spotlight. And I let them know through this checklist web page on the video in that page where I'm explaining how things operate. I'm letting them know to be ready. That's your cue. You're going to be on right after that. So I ease any butterflies, or you're always going to have butterflies, by the way, but I'll ease any extra undue anxiety. And so what that does is it helps them come on and be more of themselves rather than thinking and being in their head and being nervous, is to just know, hey, I give them everything they need to pull off a high quality show. And during that first half hour, by the way, before we go live, and we're talking on this interface right now, like StreamYard that we're using, I inject a little humor. It loosens them up. And it loosens me up too, to be honest. I get nervous every time I go on, absolutely every single time. And that's natural. It's just the degree of nervousness is not like freaking out like when you first go on stage for the first time in your life. It's not like that. And that dissipates over time, but it never goes away. I'm here to tell you. So be okay with that and know that it's the best thing for you to do is get used to being uncomfortable. So get comfortable with being uncomfortable over and over and over again, because when you are, that's when you know you are moving forward in your business, in your life. Setting expectations so that, like I said, with a video, and then I also have it in written word. Everything I say in the video is also in bullet form beneath. It's like, make sure you have a decent microphone. Make sure your computer, if you're using a laptop, make sure it's plugged in during the show, because some of them have batteries that drain and they're getting close. And I got to plug it in. And it's so funny. Make sure if you're using a laptop, especially a laptop, to clean the lens of the camera, because it could be a little blurry when they come on due to travel, carrying it, fingerprints, you get it. All those things, how to smile. Don't wear bling, like shiny things, because especially on stage where you have spotlights on you, every time you move or turn and say you have real sparkly earrings, people are distracted by that and not paying attention to you and your message. So I have no jewelry except, you can see, the wedding ring. That's never coming off because she's my girl. But I don't put that up and start flashing it around to distract you. So everything's in it. Everything's in the guest checklist. That sets them up and preps them up for success on their show. This is for them to get exposure for themselves, their brand, and their business. At the same time, they know, because they are messaged through my system, that they are there to bring value, not to pitch their products or services. I will help them. I will lead them. I will ask them questions about their business so that they can let everyone know about their business. And it's a soft pitch that way. And it comes off so much more natural, and it just generates more business than having someone come on and say, hey, let me tell you about my program. Here's where you can go buy my stuff. It's like, you lead that as the host. You lead that. You ask them, and ahead of time, like in that 30-minute time, I'll ask them certain things, like if they have a gift. That's part of my onboarding questions. With that gift, then I'll ask them when they come on in the 30 minutes before we go live, say, so can you walk me through your business? What's your avatar? What is your ideal client? Who do you work with? Do you work with corporations, individuals? So I'm armed with everything I need right before we go live, with that and everything before it. All right. Oh, and with that checklist, you want to ensure that they have completed it and looked at it and watched it and read it. And I have them actually type in their name and email address and phone number one more time, because it's like a contract, if you will. Right? So, and I get notified through text message. I have my system notify me the moment someone confirms that they went through the checklist. And so now I know that they are prepared and I don't have to worry about it. So some, you won't get that message. It just won't come through. And, I just say, well, this is really your show. I mean, this show is for you. The reason I'm doing it is for you. If you don't want to put the kind of time and effort, I do have the right to revoke them and say, I actually don't want you to be on the show because you haven't put in enough time to make this quality show. Because look, honestly, it reflects you too. It reflects me. It reflects on you as the host, and you don't want that. And so take ownership. I've never had to yet, knock on wood. I've not had to revoke anyone's appearance on the show due to that. And it's because of the whole system, setting expectations. It's called pre-framing in NLP. And it's so powerful. It is so powerful. What else? So for those of you just joining, we're talking about the 3 keys to live video show mastery. So real quick recap. Number 1 is quality of graphics, quality of camera and lighting and microphone and clothing. Be sure to dress according to your brand and look professional. Also, I didn't mention is the website. It is very, I would highly recommend you have an actual website by the same name of your show, not necessarily your business. As I said, this is the name of my business, Reach Your Peak. The name of the show is The Mind Body Business Show. I have that, themindbodybusinessshow.com. And you can go see that after the show is over. And it's a very comprehensive website. It's 24, I just counted this the other day. It's 24 web pages in total. Now, again, you don't have to go this crazy right off the bat. Do what you can within the limits of your resources, but go all the way to the limit. as far as you can and do the best you can. So that was also under the quality category. I skipped over that one. So number two, the recap, to finish the recap so far, the second key to live video show mastery is automation. And here's the thing, what I've already discussed, just that part of it, where the interaction with the guests, the onboarding, the reminding them of the show coming on, the checklist. There are other things in there. I had one guy come on who was a very astute businessman. And after he went through this whole experience from his side of the fence as a guest expert, getting all this automated information, he didn't really know it was automated. In fact, he came back and he said, Brian, how many people you have doing this? He said, I would estimate you've got about 4 VAs doing all this. Am I right? I'm like, wow, 4, fantastic. It is a lot. If you do this manually, I would not have this show, because it's got to be high quality. And if I don't have the automation, I can't make it as high quality as I would want, because I don't want to hire 4 people to run a show that I started originally that was not intended to be a moneymaker. So there's no ROI financially. So I think you see, that's just my situation. Yours might be different. So so the automation that I currently have running for my show right now is the equivalent of having 4 full-time VAs on staff. And I did the math. I went and did some research. I thought that was very intriguing. That's like $43,000 a year. If you had 4 full-time VAs for a year, $43,000 that I am saving. It took time. It took effort. I'm an automation freak. I love automation. I love it. I'm a software engineer from days gone by, and anything I can automate, I do. And I will show you, I can teach you and show you if you're interested in that. But I'm not here to sell. I'm here to give you the 3 keys. So that's the recap and automation. We're going through that. We're about to wrap that section up. I'm checking the time. We're doing good. Along with guest interaction, you also want to announce the upcoming show to as many platforms as you possibly can. So I announced this on Facebook, and I have multiple Facebook pages. I have several Facebook groups. I have a LinkedIn personal profile. I don't know what they're called on LinkedIn. And I have a company page on LinkedIn. Tumblr. I have an account on Tumblr. Not many people use that, but I still have one. It's available. Why not? Medium, which is more of a blogger's platform. Pinterest. And there's more that are escaping me. Oh, of course, Twitter. And I have an automated system that one day prior to the show going out, my system realizes it. It checks my calendar system automatically. It knows to sniff out another show coming up. And one day, 24 hours before the show, boom, that thing kicks off. And it sends out a post to all of these platforms. And it puts in the title, which includes the name of the guest expert, and an actual photo image of that specific guest expert coming up, all automatically. And the description is basically their bio. So I've got that in data form because they filled it in when they onboarded in the form. So you can see how this is starting. One stage is feeding the next and the next and the next. And you just use the data to your advantage. And it's been working flawlessly and seamlessly for now over 2 years. It's been phenomenal. And so that goes out one day prior. And then on the day of the show, I do it one more time. I just do the same exact message with the same photo and everything, but 1 hour before. And in there as well is a link that takes them to the next show where they can literally go watch. So you want to make it as easy as possible for people to find you in your show. That's another tip. So you want to do that. So all of your social media platforms that you have accounts in, and even those that you don't, like Medium, I did not have an account there. I found that it was something I could integrate with automation. So I researched it and said, this could be a fit. So I just started shooting messages to it, and I started getting people reading and commenting and responding like, wow, this is pretty phenomenal. And that's without me personally ever typing a word in that platform. I still to this day have not. It's just announcement of the show going out. Let's see. So those are the first 2 keys. Yes, we're getting down to it already. My goodness, time flies. The third key to live video show mastery is mass exposure. You want to get as much exposure as you possibly can for each and every show. And on that, there's a side note. I get asked this quite a bit by prospective guest experts who are going to come on. Hey, Brian, how many live viewers do you have? I'm like, I can't answer that. It goes all over the map. You never know. It could be events happening. It could be a big television event going on during that time. It could be that you have a big name guest and they did a good job in helping promote. There's so many factors that go into it. I just say, I honestly don't know what to tell you, but there will be people on, there'll be people watching, we'll get some interaction, but the real juice is in after the show. And that's where this segment comes in, the mass exposure, the third key. And it all comes down to repurposing. And what I like to say is live video, what you're watching right now, it is the genesis point of all marketing, the beginning of the beginning. You cannot go any farther, what I say, to the left if you're looking at a timeline. It is the starting point. So what happens is, let's say you just do let's say you do an audio podcast. I mean, I know many people are crushing it with audio podcasts, and that is here. Well, you cannot take an audio podcast that was recorded and repurpose it into a recorded video. I mean, an authentic one that was a video of you doing the talk at the time. Yes, you can create something and just make it, you know what I mean, an authentic video of you two or you talking at that moment. So that would be over here, a recorded video. And then you still can't take this recorded audio podcast and repurpose it into a live broadcast of any kind, but let alone live video. But if you start with a live video, yes, you can repurpose it as a recorded video. They're all recorded. And you can then repurpose that into an audio podcast. So now you have at least two more whole platforms and whole ways of distributing your content than if you're just doing a podcast. And again, I'm sorry if I say just, because they're very powerful. And so repurposing is the key. And when you're live streaming at the same time, I typically live stream to 7, sometimes 8 platforms simultaneously, depends on a few factors. And that includes the guest who was a no-show tonight, and that's okay. The show must go on. But up to 8 platforms simultaneously. You see them right above my head. So Facebook, I know you're counting. There's only 5 there. So there would be 3 on Facebook alone, as an example, to give it to that. Would that make it 8? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? No, there'd be 4 on Facebook alone. So that would include the guest's Facebook page directly as part of that. And so 1, 2, 3. Yes, I'm already right now streaming to 3 Facebook pages of mine, LinkedIn, Periscope, which I'm surprised is going live right now. I was told it was going down in March, and Twitch as well. And so you want to hit as many platforms as you possibly can at all times, whether you're in the live stage or you're in the post-live / recorded stage, or you're in the audio only repurposing stage. You want to hit every platform you possibly can. So again, it's the genesis point. Another thing you can do, and this is true with audio podcasts as well, is you can have them transcribed, converted into the written word. What can you do with the written word? Oh my goodness, so much. You can have them repurposed into ebooks of their own right, an entire show, and use that as gifts to people who opt in. There's so many things you can do. You can have, what I do is I have a team of apprentices who go in and correct those transcriptions, because I have an automated transcription service. I upload the video, it transcribes it. And when it's done, you can see it, examples of these on the mindbodybusinessshow.com, and just click on past shows link on the navigate menu on the top, and just click any one of those shows and you'll see an example of this. It's the video playing above the written word that is animated and highlighted in tandem in real time with the video. It's pretty awesome. And you can click anywhere. You can take the resulting text from that, which I've had my apprentices, as they're going through and correcting. This is secret stuff here. As they're going through and correcting the transcription, I have them keep an eye out for quotes that they feel are impactful. I don't even look at them. I don't review them. I just want to know if they're impactful to them. And if they find one, they grab it, they copy it and paste it into a Google Doc for our team. And we have a Google Doc that's over 60 pages of nothing but quotes from the show. And all that came from the transcription. Those then are taken and pulled into graphical memes that are posted. You guessed it, we schedule them so they go out automatically after they're created. We just have an apprentice or a team member put them in the scheduler, and they go out all the time. Instagram, Facebook, you name it. So mass exposure. My gosh, I'm giving away everything tonight. You guys are really, really fortunate to be hearing all this. This is fantastic. All right. Next, transcriptions. Now, so again, I love podcast platforms and I love podcasts. They are phenomenal. I don't mean to belittle them in any way, shape, or form, but you can see right beneath me, it says listen on. Those are graphical icons of podcast platforms. So the first one there, the little I, that would be what used to be called iTunes, is now Apple Podcasts. There's Google Play, there's Spotify, there's Stitcher, there's, I forget the name and it's so tiny I can't even see it. There's Podbean, there's Pandora, and those are just a tiny representation. I have this show repurposed after it's over. I personally do this part of it. It takes little time. I've got the whole thing down to a science. And this is not to boast or brag. It's to help you to understand what you can do. Okay. This is not about me. This is helping. I'm to help you. And so when the show's over, I take the resulting recorded video. I drop it into a tool called Camtasia. I put a quick splash screen image I have in the first frame, the first 1 second or 2 seconds worth of video, or a static frame. I drop the video file right behind it. I cut out most of the intro part. You see the countdown, and then I cut off some of the end and put some cool little easy fade transitions. I put 2 of those in. 10 minutes, I'm done. I save it, and then from Camtasia, I extract the audio. I extract the audio. That becomes the podcast. And so with that, I upload that to my podcasting syndication platform, which again, you can find out which one that is right here. All you have to do is opt in, ryp.im/automation. And you'll see that in the list, which one I use. And the moment it goes there, it gets sent to and is on and available to be played on 25. Is that right on the camera? Other way around. 25 podcast platforms. Not just the 6 you see beneath me, or 7. That's 7. 25. That is repurposing. And then I don't stop there. One final place we put this, and I see we're getting close to wrapping it up, and I haven't forgotten, if you're watching live and you just came on, you're lucky, because stick on to the end, and it's only a few minutes away. You can learn how to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star resort. Compliments of the Big Insider Secrets. My buddy Jason Nast has made that available for us to give away each and every single show, and that's going to be my final tip, by the way. And we're only one topic away. The other way you can repurpose is to put your show on-demand TV in front of nearly 200 million, maybe more now, viewers. And what I do is I have this integrated, and my shows are all uploaded and ready to be viewed, and they are being viewed all the time. I have them running in my studio on 2 different monitors through Roku and Amazon Fire TV. And so the cost is minimal. It costs you a one-time fee for a Roku stick and an Amazon Fire TV stick, which you must have in order to do this yourself. You must have them. It's one-time fee. And then there's a hosting fee for a video host provider, which is very nominal. It's next to nothing. And you can have your own on-demand TV channel. And look, think about all these things you can promote to your guest experts. You literally could charge them to appear on your show with all the things and all the exposure that you're getting for that guest expert. And that's another reason this show in its own self has become a lead magnet for me and my business. Many of the leads that I'm referring to are literally my past guest experts that were on the show. They get done and they go, my God, You seem so organized and everything's so professional and high quality and blah, blah, blah. And they say, Brian, can you show me how to do what you do? And for more than a year, I just kept saying, no, it's too much work. Well, I finally buckled and I literally put together a program. It took me a year and a half. I'm not selling this to you tonight. I'm just showing you and sharing what the whole migration was. Let's see if we can get this thing to come up and look proper. That's not it. We want this one. Yeah, it's a little different without my guest on the show. There we go. So I came up with the concept of carpet bomb marketing, a little audio to go with that. Yes, dropping bombs of knowledge. Carpet bomb marketing is the name of the program I came up with that really goes through and talks about everything I'm talking about here in much, much, much greater detail. And it's basically designed as an info product for you to be able to do exactly what I'm doing, and maybe even better, who knows? But it goes through all the things we've been talking about, plus many, many more. One final tip before I announce the prize. So I'm going to get rid of the Carpet Bomb Marketing website page right there. Maybe, maybe not. Here we go. And so one final tip is sponsorship. One additional way to get even more exposure is to have a sponsor, like I am about to announce to you, who stayed with me live to the end, on how to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star resort. And again, this isn't a sales tactic, but anyone who does embark on the Carpet Bomb Marketing program will have access to my very sponsor. I've already worked that out with him, Jason Nast, and the Big Insider Secrets. And so I'm going to take you to that now so you can enter to win, and then we'll wrap it up real quick. So watch your screen if you're watching live. This is only for you watching live. If you're listening on podcast, it's this ends tonight. It's basically a drawing, an automated drawing. So go figure, automated. All right, here it is. Watch the screen. Pull out your cell phone. Bring up your messaging, your text messaging app, and where you would put in the name of the person that you would text. Instead, put in this number, 314-665-1767. You may want to write this down. I'm not going to keep this up too long. That's 314-665-1767. And then where you would type in the message, where the emojis would go and all that, do not put emojis. Just put 2 words separated by a dash or a hyphen. And those 2 words are peak. That's PEAK dash vacation, all together, no spaces. Go ahead and do that right now. And what happens is my automated system will text you back, and it will ask you for your email address, because the system will then select the winner and notify the winner via email, because there are a lot more details to go with it, including a link to where you can go get your prize. And again, thank you once again to Jason Nast and the BigInsiderSecrets.com for providing this and making this available to all. That is about it. I hope you all got great, immense, incredible, tremendous value from this. It was a lot of fun. And I'm going to pull back the curtain and tell you another secret. I did not have this prepared until 10 minutes before live. And so I literally wrote down the key elements. The thing is, I know the content. I know what I'm doing. I've done this many times, but to be able to present it, this is one of those skills you want to learn to acquire. But see, I've got quality automation and other things written down, and I have another page if I swipe it that I started just jotting these notes down and said, the show must go on. I've got so much content that I could talk about always, all the time. And so I decided to go with that, because I am writing another book. My first one's not even done, and my second one's getting started. But you can see I've got the main pieces. There's quality, automation, and massive exposure. So already started mapping that out, working with another company and having a great time with that. But that is it for tonight. I appreciate you for coming on, listening to this talking head blab all night. But I hope you got some really good value from this, because I follow everything I just told you is exactly how I operate this show. and it has brought me some incredible connections and contacts. Like I said earlier, a couple of multi-million-dollar deals were struck as a result, and I've actually got another one in the works as I speak, and it would not have come to fruition had I not done this show. And the thing is, I'll end with a quick story. I know we're a little over, and that is, and I've told this on a previous show, so if you've heard it, that's cool. No problem. There's a guy named Lewis Howes. Look him up, Lewis Howes, and he's a prominent entrepreneur. He's very big name, big influencer in the space. He has a podcast, very successful. He was interviewed on stage, and he was asked this question. He said, Lewis, if someone came to you and they said, hey, I want to start a podcast, what advice would you give me? And he didn't think long. He says, well, I'd give them two pieces of advice. First, I'd say that they need to commit to being consistent. And that means if they're going to do a podcast that drops and goes out every Monday at a certain time, then it must do it every single Monday at that same time. You must commit to consistency. So if you're doing 2 shows a week, it's got to be the same 2 days of the week, as an example. And the second thing is, here's the kicker. You want to lean in and listen to this. He said, if they're not ready or willing to commit to doing that for a full 2 years, then my advice to them would be to not start the podcast at all. And I got to tell you, I was about 2 years into this show when I saw that interview, and he hit the nail on the head. Why? Because that's how long it took for the real momentum to kick in. For me, I grew this organically. I learned over time, and that's the kind of audience he was speaking to. But now that I've learned it, I can help people get there faster. It won't be 2 years. But it took me some time, and now I want to help people to do that. So that became an offering that I never expected I would ever do in my wildest dreams, because of the work involved in putting the whole thing together, not only for myself, but to train it and teach it. But it is now a product, and I'm very proud of it. And I hope that you, whether or not you work with me, and that's not the point here, is just put a high quality show together and inject some automation and get some mass exposure as a result of it. And then you'll see your business start to take off if you just remain consistent. All right. That's about all I have for tonight. I appreciate you for being on. I can't wait to see who won that prize. And you'll be announced on Facebook if you allow us to give you that shout out. It's your choice. But I hope you win. We'll be on in about a week from now, once again, right here on the Mind Body Business Show. I am your host, Brian Kelly, saying, hey, so long for now. Have a blessed evening, and take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is